Shop the Sherwin-Williams Labor Day sale and get 35% off paints and stains August 22nd through September 4th. With prices starting at $31.84, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
The T-Biz podcast delivers tea news that you need to know. A recap of the week's major headlines with commentary and cultural trends hosted by Dan Bolton. It is the voice of origin for tea professionals and enthusiasts worldwide.
Tea nourishes and inspires. It is an ancient plant-based medicine that heals and energizes the body while soothes the mind. Transforming the leaf requires a fusion of artistry, craftsmanship, and commerce. The tea trade is fundamentally local, yet exerts a global influence, generating $260 billion in sales and employing millions. Hello, everyone. Here are this week's headlines. Chinese tea exports to the U.S. dropped sharply after early year surge. There's a hidden cost for fertilization, how phosphorus is diminishing theanine in tea, and Jing tea inspires a Scotch Whiskies collaboration. Plus, the Northwest Tea Festival. The Northwest Tea Festival, held each year in Seattle's Center Exhibition Hall, features tastings, workshops, and lectures. It brings together tea enthusiasts of all skill levels to discover global traditions and modern innovations. Visitors enjoy interactive experiences, meet vendors, and deepen their appreciation for the culture, artistry, and community of tea in a friendly and engaging setting. Festival coordinator Andrew Goodman previews the activities at this year's event, scheduled for September 27 and 28. Admission is $25, which includes entry for both days. In memoriam, T-Biz notes the passing of Dr. Sen Jishen Shu, former Grand Master of the NEWSMAKER School of Tea, at the age of 102. A peace champion through the way of tea, his legacy includes 165 Japan-based chapters and 93 NEWSMAKER associations in 38 countries. More in a minute, but first, this important message.
What happens when businesses along the tea supply chain get together and support women and children in tea communities? The Mother and Child-Friendly Seal for Responsible Business is creating long-term positive impacts, making your cup of Ceylon tea all the sweeter. Learn more at srilanka-motherandchildseal.org.
U.S. imports of Chinese tea are significantly lower mid-year following a pre-peak surge earlier in 2025. According to China customs data and the USDA's Global Agricultural Trade Database, tea shipments from China to the U.S. surged in January and February as exporters rushed to avoid rising tariffs. However, since the latest round of reciprocal duties was enforced in April, volumes have fallen sharply. As of August, Chinese tea faces duties totaling 37.5%, up from the 7.5% base rate set in the original 2018 trade war. The new tariffs include a 10% universal import tax imposed in February and an additional 20% penalty under the so-called reciprocal tariff regime introduced in April. U.S. President Donald Trump is also eliminating the de minimis shipment exemption effective August 29th. The duty-free $800 exemption per person per day was popular with specialty tea suppliers exporting to the U.S. Several brokers and importers, including First Tea USA, confirmed that many spring shipments were rerouted or delayed due to higher costs and risks. According to the China Tea Marketing Association, the volume of green and jasmine teas exported to the U.S. declined nearly 35% year over year through June. while black tea exports remained relatively stable, partly due to higher value-added formats and some forward contracts. Overall, the market has shrunk. In response to high U.S. tariffs, Chinese tea suppliers are rerouting shipments to alternative markets. Southeast Asia, especially Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand, has increased its imports, benefiting from lower logistics costs and rising middle-class demand. Meanwhile, Gulf states such as the UAE and Saudi Arabia have experienced a noticeable boost in Chinese tea imports, particularly jasmine and scented teas. Exports to Russia and Central Asia have also expanded, partly supported by land-based belt and road logistics. Several Chinese exporters are strengthening their positions in Australia, South Africa, and Western Europe, where tariffs are lower and bilateral trade remains steady. Trade press reports and customs brokers say many U.S. importers scrambled in Q1 to front-load container orders before tariffs hit their peak. Now, with landed costs significantly higher, small and mid-sized buyers are reducing orders or seeking alternative sources, especially Vietnam, Taiwan, and Japan. Some U.S. brands are also exploring nearshoring options through Canada or Mexico, taking advantage of duty-free treatment under USMCA rules where possible. First Tea noted that, quote, uncertainty around tariff escalation has made long-term planning extremely difficult, end quote, echoing concerns from others in the sector that the once stable U.S.-China tea trade is becoming fragmented and price volatile. Business Insight. After spiking mid-year amid tariff uncertainties and supply-demand imbalances, container rates on the Trans-Pacific routes have moderated. As of August 14, 2025, rates have declined 2% to $2,350 per 40-foot container from Shanghai to Los Angeles, based on Drewry's World Container Index data. The spot rate is $2,494 per FEU. T-Biz Assam-based correspondent Rupa Goswami found this report on the hidden cost of fertilization, how phosphorus is diminishing theanine in tea. A peer-reviewed study from Guizhou University published in Horticultural Research reveals that excessive phosphorus fertilization, standard in many tea-growing regions, directly suppresses theanine biosynthesis in Camellia sinensis, thereby reducing one of tea's most valuable quality and wellness compounds. Theanine is central to the tea industry's premium positioning, prized for its umami flavor and cognitive benefits. The study identifies a phosphate-activated molecular module that acts as a biochemical brake on theanine production. In simple terms, more phosphate in the soil equals less theanine in the cup. Overfertilization may be unintentionally lowering product quality, especially in green teas marketed for their high theanine content. London-based Jing Tea and Scotland's 200-year-old The Macallan brand Scotch announced 2 new tea-inspired additions to the company's Harmony collection. The single malts are flavored with a smoked cherrywood lapsang and a phoenix honey orchid tea from Jing's rare tea selections. Melanie Trickleback, CEO of Jing Tea, commented, quote, at Jing, we're inspired by the unique terroir and craftsmanship behind every tea origin. It's a pleasure to collaborate with such an incredible brand and to see the Macallan draw inspiration from our distinctive quality and craft of tea produced by partners who inspire our mission to change the perception of what tea can be. The collaboration with the Macallan is a true meeting of minds and traditions, end quote. Ami Farah, Macallan creative director, writes that, quote, working with Jing has allowed us to explore new dimensions of flavor and storytelling, creating 2 whiskeys that are both innovative and deeply connected to the land, end quote. Inspir said the whiskey for this release was primarily matured in sherry-seasoned American oak cask, along with some sherry-seasoned European oak and a small proportion of American oak bourbon barrels, which is unusual but not unheard of for the sherry cask-focused distillery. Official tasting notes list peach, apricot, floral honey, tropical fruits, toffee, and sweet oak on the palate, and it was bottled at 43.9% ABV. Jing describes its Lapsang Shushang as a reinvention of Lapsang from the Wuyi Mountains. It is an organic Chinese black tea smoked over cherry wood in the UK. Quote, "We've combined the natural smoky notes and richness of Yunnan black tea with sweetly aromatic smoke from cherry wood to create an exquisitely smoked Lapsang experience," end quote. The Phoenix Oolong, often referred to as Dankong, was a favorite of the emperor. Our Phoenix honey orchid is also named for its authentic fruity and floral flavor, which comes with a pleasing roasted richness and a touch of astringency. The suggested retail price in the U.S. is $200 for 750 milliliters. This is the Tea Price Report for week 33, ending August 15th, 2025. Global takeaways. Quality premiums are back. Clean PF1 and BP1s out of East Africa and Bright Orthodox out of Sri Lanka and Indonesia are drawing premiums. Plainer Leaf face resistance and higher withdrawals. Retail inflation picture remains mixed. India's historic CPI trough contrasts with modest tea coffee category firming in the UK and EU, as well as the US, keeping shelf tags sticky in those destinations. Volumes are high, buyers are choosy. Mombasa saw heavy offerings with greater than 40% withdrawals in an earlier August sale. Colombo's catalogs remain large, but low-growns held firm. Costs and policy still matters. Sri Lanka's wage environment and logistics fuel dynamics continued to shape exporters' floor prices into quarter three. For a full written brief and occasional charts, visit www.teajourney.pub. And now, a word from this week's sponsor.
Hello, I'm Bogdan, a passionate tea drinker and the inventor of the ultimate tea machine, the Brew Maker 1. Preparation is key to making fine tea. Sequential steepings deliver the best taste possible and unlock the true value of whole leaf teas and botanicals. Brew automates that process without using any pots or capsules. This simple-to-operate, smartphone-controlled device stores steeping profiles to consistently make great tea at the push of a button. Brew also reduces time, waste, and energy. That's because I engineered the brew to remember control settings for temperature, brewing time, and quantity. Using my patented process lets you stack steeps simply and conveniently.
The Northwest Tea Festival, held each year in Seattle's Center Exhibition Hall, features tastings, workshops, and lectures. It brings together tea enthusiasts of all skill levels to discover global traditions and modern innovations. Visitors enjoy interactive experiences, meet vendors, and deepen their appreciation for the culture, artistry, and community of tea in a friendly and engaging setting. Festival coordinator Andrew Goodman previews the activities at this year's event, scheduled for September 27 and 28. Admission is $25, which includes entry for both days. Andrew Goodman is the founder and principal of The Happy Tea Man, a Bellevue, Washington-based tea education and consulting brand. As a tea educator, consultant, and photographer, he specializes in creating immersive, visually engaging tea experiences. Andrew is a dedicated volunteer and organizer of the Northwest Tea Festival, helping shape one of the region's most celebrated tea events. A lifelong tea lover, he attended the inaugural edition of the Northwest Tea Festival and has been involved ever since. He is a graduate of City University of New York, Hunter College, and retired following a career in beverage sales and marketing. Welcome to the podcast, Andrew. Nearly 2 decades after the founder's successful start, how are you maintaining enthusiasm for the event and reaffirming the festival's original mission?
I've been involved with the Tea Festival pretty much since its beginning, first as an attendee and then as a volunteer, and then working with different committees, social media, etc., programming. Our guiding mission is education and bringing people together around tea, learning all the aspects of tea. Where is it grown? How is it processed? What is the history in that area? How is it different from other areas? It is a tour. It's a worldwide tour, and it's a worldwide learning tour. And, we have 2 audiences, the vendors and the attendees, and I want to keep them both happy and wanting to come back. And the interaction with that special tasting cup and that moment when you first put that cup to your lips and you get that, that's right. That's right. That's why I love it. Tea changes all the time. The tea Kuan Yin I drank 30, 40 years ago is different than the tea Kuan Yin I drink today. Tea is ongoing. It's growing. Tea is always offering something new for your palate. My interest for over 50 years has been learning about tea personally, and it really kind of came together. So everything I do has the guiding principle of we're bringing people together with tea, we're making information available to people and whetting their appetite to learn more. So whether it's our selection of vendors, our selection of people preparing tea at the tea bar, everything is about learning about this wonderful thing that we get from the Camellia sinensis plant. It's thousands of years old. It has generated tremendous profits. It has generated wars. It has made economies. It's a big, big deal. And it ends up in a little cup of tea that people love. They love to talk about tea. They love to get together with tea. Well, I build a question and answer period into every single presentation, workshop, or tea bar brewing hosting. I want an interaction to happen because that's the natural thing with tea. You sit around and talk. It's a conversational beverage. It's something that really brings out thoughts and passions that people love to express, and tea is kind of the universal lubricant for that.
Tell me a little bit about the location and the things that are happening at this year's event.
Well, we're at the Seattle Center now for the 15th year. We have actually outgrown 2 of the venues, and we're now in the largest hall. Seattle Center is kind of a center for the city and for the community, made famous by the World's Fair, of course. So it's a huge room, and we're able to accommodate a lot of tea lovers. We try to keep the flow going very, very well because of the size of the room, and we do limit the number of actual vendors we have. There's never really a crowd at any one table, and things flow very, very well. Doesn't matter if you're in the front of the room, the back of the room, there are people interested in what's there. There's also a tremendous diversity. We're fortunate that people have been coming for many, many years. Some right local here in the greater Pacific Northwest, but others from all over. It's a reunion. It's a reunion of friends.
So who comes to these events? And tell me a little bit about the regulars. Who are the most loyal and most likely to show?
I'm amazed by the people I see every year, year after year after year. Tea is so universal. We're connected with some college clubs, and we have people of all ages. It's a really good mix. I don't have specific demographics. I think it's important we collect them. But the people who come with a passion, and they line up ahead of time. They want to get in there right away. They're very happy to be there. Some of them dress up. We get some people who come in costumes. We have everything from romantic period to steampunk. So people are really into it, and everybody comes with their own passion. And just as people are very different, the passion about tea is very, very different. They have some favorite booths. We usually get about 60, 70% retention in terms of vendors, maybe a little higher this year. So people know I want to go taste pu'er with him. I know they have the best oolongs from Taiwan. And I know I'm going to discover something new. There's always something new for people.
How does this year's program differ from previous years?
Well, for one thing, everything is free. You pay your admission and you come in, and all of the presentations, all of the workshops, all of the T-bar activities are free with admission. I wanted to really emphasize that. And what I try to do is get as diverse a selection as I possibly can to attract people. The T-bar is going to be having the finest teas from the high mountains in Yunnan, but there's also something called strange and unusual teas you never heard of. We're going to have fine matcha, and we're going to have someone discussing what are the different grades of ceremonial matcha. But we also have somebody talking about what will tea and tea look like in 2050 and 2075. And we also have someone talking about tea in the age of Jane Austen. So we're going to be looking at traditional English style, and we're going to be looking at, well, what are we going to be drinking? What is the market going to have for us? It's important that we consider the future, and it's important that we focus on how are we going to bring people who are casual tea drinkers into the tent, and who are those people going to be? There are so many new things happening all the time. Flavored teas, milk teas, things it's just an extension. Tea has always had things added to it, but it's crazy now what's going on. But what I like to say is they all have tea as a last name. Bubble tea, last name is tea. Milk tea, last name is tea. Once you're in that tent, we want you to see all the opportunities you have to move to the kind of specialty tea that we really focus on.
Andrew, will you tell us a little bit about the special events at this year's festival?
Well, this year we are partnering with a wonderful movie called Tea, the Drink That Changed the World, which is right within the comfort zone that I have for educating people about tea. It's a historical journey. It's a geographical journey, and it's accompanied with beautiful footage. It was produced by Christy Way, experienced filmmaker. And we're going to be doing a couple of special events around Chinese New Year, invite people to a special location in Seattle, and we'll be doing behind the scenes about the movie. We'll be doing brewing of the teas that we see in the movie. We'll talk about the teaware and the culture about the movie. We're also going to be bringing back a program that we used to have, which was a year-long program where people would do small tea tastings. This goes back about 10 years. We're going online. There's a great community on Zoom and other platforms like that, which meet with some regularity to discuss tea. And the plan is to make this into an ongoing educational endeavor. People from all over the world have shown an interest, from England, from China, from other parts of Europe, certainly the United States. And what we want to bring is a monthly visit to some expert in some area of Camellia sinensis tea, growing, processing, spreading the word. So we want to have a year-long, not just a festival. We want to have a year-long opportunity, and we're working on that. When the festival ends, a lot of that energy will go toward that. Have a couple of people that maybe we'll kick it off with. Stay tuned for more words. But I think this will make it kind of a year-long thing. And I'll tell you something. I'm going to partner with our local tea festivals. I'm in contact with Portland. I'm in contact with Chicago. I'm in contact with San Francisco. And maybe there'll be some synergy here where we can work together to bring this new educational opportunity to as many people as we can reach.
I'm excited about that. They just started a new festival called the Northeast Tea Festival in Boston. And I was privileged to be part of the Paris Tea Festival 4 weeks ago in Paris. And when Prague held their tea festival, the lines went around the block. It took half of the day to get everybody in to enjoy the festivities. So it's a very good thing for tea to see folks get together and sample new styles of tea and meet the people who are involved in making the tea and marketing the tea. Tell me a little bit more about the tea bar.
Well, the tea bar, a special area at the tea festival for informal 15 to 1 hour sessions where people can get off their feet and sit for a very focused tasting. The tea bar was created by the wonderful Whatcom Tea Association. Laurie and Charles Dawson pioneered it. So we have some passionate people who are going to be hosting, and we have a very special event, which is called the Tea Pet Party. People are invited to bring their own tea pet, little clay figurines that we like to put on our tea table and bathe with tea. Well, the Tea Pet Party invites people to bring their own tea pets, or we have tea pets there too, and people will talk about tea, talk about all the accoutrements, all the beautiful things that go on a tea table, and how a tea pet can become very important.
I'm excited about that.
There was no limit. We put out word to people from the festival, people I knew, would you like to do a 45-minute hosting session? And we got a pretty good selection of people, young and old. And I invited them to bring whatever tea they wanted to discuss, or I would be happy to make the IT world or my teas available for them. So the diversity there is pretty strong. We encourage people to talk about what they're passionate about. I didn't assign, you do this, you do that, you do that. If you have an interest and you have a passion, that's what I want to give you a place to be able to discuss it and explore it with people. So that's a nice more.
That's a nice ending there. We'll just leave it right at that, sure. Explore with people. Now, is there anything that I've missed here that you want to emphasize?
Well, here's what I want to talk about.
Sure.
The Tea Festival for 18 years, this is the 15th anniversary, but of course we were dark for 3 years for COVID. It's always been a volunteer organization. Right now, we have 12 people who are year-long volunteers, each with a specialty: ticketing, graphic art, facilities, you name it. And each of those people has been working for a while in that specific area that's part of the Tea Festival. That's how we get the 100 to 120 people who come to the festival for 2 days, give their time to help everything from ticket sales to vendors. Those volunteers are very important. And we encourage you, if you wish, to jump on our website. It's a really simple process. If you do a shift of 6 hours, you get admission, you get a cup, you get a bag, you get all kinds of goodies. And we have some student clubs, we have some schools, and we have a lot of regular people who come back all the time to volunteer. What I'm saying is, without volunteers, this wouldn't happen. So we are grateful to them forever.
Intrigued by what you heard in today's podcast? Would you like to learn more from our global network of tea-biz journalists and tea experts? Remember to visit the Tea-Biz website for more comprehensive coverage. That's www.t-biz.com. Thanks for listening. Farewell till next week.
Produced by Adavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.